Good morning and welcome to our presentation today about AI, your aid in education. So, our purpose today is to increase every teacher's proficiency in AI and also experience how AI can aid teachers, become your assistant, if you will. So, our goals today are to understand the impact of AI, to review the WEC-DSB rollout of AI, learn to critically evaluate AI responses and recognize bias, and experience how AI can be an aid in education. So, first, we're going to watch a video um, to kind of get you warmed up today about Robin Grondin chatting with Copilot. And now we're going to start talking about the impact of AI. And so, Doug is going to discuss with us the evolution of AI. And then we want to make sure that we understand that AI is in our newly releasing curriculum. It's in Science and Technology Grade 8, which talks about identify and describe impacts of coding and emerging technologies, such as artificial intelligence systems, on everyday life, including skilled trades. And our Grade 9 Geography, where we're applying critical thinking skills to assess the credibility and biases of relevant sources from a wide variety of media sources, including print, online, social media, as well as content produced or used using current innovations in technology, including AI. So now we're going to talk about our AI plan going forward. Now, this plan is fluid, but Doug is going to describe it for us. Okay, now we're going to move into learning how to critically evaluate AI responses and recognize AI bias. It's interesting that the Pope, as far back as 2019, has been talking about AI, and this is from his bulletin on the World Day of Peace 2024, which I believe was released in December of 2023. The urgent need to orient the concept and use of artificial intelligence in a responsible way so that it may be at the service of humanity and the protection of our common home require that ethical reflection be extended to the sphere of education and law. So now we're going to watch a short video on AI and bias. And now we're going to talk about AI bias and equity. Okay, let's take a few minutes to cross check AI's understanding of bias. So we ran a question through Gemini. What prompt could I use to compare Gemini and ChatGPT to show a bit of bias? And it's interesting because Gemini really talks about itself and says that it is the best AI LLM. Both Gemini and ChatGPT are impressive language models. However, considering Gemini's access to Google search and its advanced image processing capabilities, wouldn't you agree that Gemini is better equipped to handle complex real-world tasks? So it definitely has a bias towards itself. But then ChatGPT gave us a much less biased answer. Both models draw on different sources or interpret the topic through varying perspectives. The frame of arguments around economic fairness, government responsibility, or potential societal outcomes may expose subtle biases. Look out for how they present viewpoints, weigh positives versus negatives, and the overall tone, optimistic versus skeptical. So you can see that ChatGPT gave a less biased answer in that case. So we thought we would ask uh, a few AIs who the best football team in the NFL was?
The answer to the best football team in the NFL can depend on how you're measuring greatness, whether it's based on recent performance, Super Bowl wins, or overall legacy. Here's a breakdown of different perspectives. Now, number one, current performance, 2024 NFL season. Philadelphia Eagles and San Francisco 49ers are currently top contenders in the 2024 NFL season.
The best team in the NFL is subjective and can change week to week. Different sources have different rankings. However, based on current standings and expert opinions, the Kansas City Chiefs are generally considered one of the top contenders. They have a strong offense led by quarterback Patrick Mahomes and a solid defense. Other teams in the conversation often include the Minnesota Vikings, Baltimore Ravens, and Detroit Lions.
That's a hot topic. A lot of variables go into that. Recent form, history, individual performance. I'd say the Kansas City Chiefs have been crushing it lately, with Patrick Mahomes leading the charge. But then again, some would argue for the Philadelphia Eagles or the San Francisco 49ers.
So that gives you a little idea of how there can be slight bias in each of the answers. Okay, now we're going to talk about testing for AI bias. And we're going to give you 10 minutes to open up ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot and ask each model the same question and then compare the answers. And then try out a few and see if you can find bias between the three and share them with the people who are around you. So we're going to give you 10 minutes to do that. And now we're going to talk about how AI can be an aid in education. So these are the elements that we suggested to you the last time we met 18 months ago talking about AI. And these haven't changed, but there are a few more things. So it could, even when ChatGPT was first introduced, write lesson plans, design an outline for a class syllabus, write policies for class syllabi, write learning goals, design quizzes and test questions, write a script for a podcast or a video, design a rubric, provide directions for an activity, write emails, change the tones of emails, provide low quality, high quality writing examples, provide tips on how to differentiate or personalize learning, write letters or help you write letters to parents or students. But it can now do just a little bit more. So Gemini is now the board recommended AI, and it is current. So it pulls from information that's right up to date because it's Google. ChatGPT free is 1 year behind, but the paid version of ChatGPT is current. And then Copilot uses a more current ChatGPT through its model than you can get using ChatGPT alone. And here are some things that you can play with: generating images. You can generate podcasts, which we're going to show you in our own podcast in a little while. Convert documents to slide decks, take meeting notes, summarize top points of meetings, changing the tones of emails. So we are looking at a couple of different common sources. So Gemini, and Gemini works with a variety of information: text, code, audio, images, video. It can generate creative content, coding, can answer questions, summarize information, translate languages, although it's not always the best for that. So you have to use your professional judgment. And Gemini, you can access straight through your board login, and it is the board recommended or certified AI, because Gemini has promised the board that it will not train the AI on any information that we give it. Copilot is another one that we saw Robin demonstrate earlier, and it's a conversational chat interface, so it can search for specific information, generate text, such as emails or prompts. It's also interesting to talk to because it can help you refine your ideas because it's in that conversational style. And ChatGPT, the one we started with, is also a chatbot that allows more personalized conversations. And as many of us know, it can compose essays, have philosophical conversations, do math, even code. So now we're going to get into something called prompting. And prompting is how you get the results you want from AI. So it's called prompt engineering, and we're going to take a few minutes to practice that skill now so that we can learn to get the best out of AI as teachers. That's a 2-minute video. So one of the ways that we can think about prompt engineering is using the facts cycle. Now, there are a couple of other ways of looking at this, but basically the idea is that you formulate a question, you choose your tool, you create the context that you want, you type your prompt, and then you scrutinize the results and adapt from there. So let's take some time to practice this. Here are some examples of initial prompts. Create an image about a dog on a bicycle, or write a story about two friends. Suggest some ideas for a science fair project. Create study guides for a math class. Give tips and for studying and doing homework, or outline the steps for planning a school event. So these are kind of basic prompts. And now you want to refine those prompts. And again, there's an acronym. You prompt the AI, you give it role definition, you give it explicit instructions, and you give it a parameter set. So let's take a look at how this would look. So we picked one of those prompts. I need help coming up with ideas for my lesson on science fairs. And then you want to act as an expert scientist who knows about different science content. So that's your role. And then you suggest science projects and ideas and include a brief description of each. And then each idea should be described in no more than 2 sentences. So let's give this a try and see what we come up with. So you might use ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot. Choose an AI model. You might have to sign up if you are signing up for Copilot, and because Copilot is available through Microsoft, so you just have to create an account. Think of an initial prompt and then keep refining it using those prep steps, and then see how you get what you're looking for. So do this a number of times. We're going to give you about 10 minutes for you to do this and share with the people around you. And on the next slide, we'll just go over again the prep steps. So remember, you want to prompt the LLM, you want role definition, explicit instructions, and parameter sets.